All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to peel back the curtain on the part of the internet you deal with every single day, most of the time, without even knowing it, the application layer.
I mean, think about it, right? You click a link, a website just appears. You hit send, an email zips across the world. It feels like absolute magic. But it's not. It's a series of really fast, logical steps. So how in the world does it actually work?
So that's what we're going to do. We are going to follow the anatomy of one single click. We'll trace its journey from your screen out into the wild network and all the way back again, just to understand the invisible engine that's powering your entire digital life.
So let's start with what I like to call the internet's magic layer. This is where what we do connects to that huge, complicated network underneath.
The application layer is that critical bridge between the apps you're using and all the complexity happening below. The best way to think of it is as a translator. It takes your intention, like a click, and turns it into a language the network can actually understand. It handles everything from formatting data correctly to managing the entire conversation.
Okay, so let's get practical. We're going to break down the one thing we all do online all the time, loading a website.
At the heart of almost everything online is this really simple idea, the client-server model. Your web browser, that's the client. It's asking for stuff. And that powerful computer that's hosting the website you want to see, that's the server. Its only job is to respond to that request. That's it, a request and a response.
So, step 1, you type cisco.com and hit enter. That's easy for us humans to remember. But here's the thing. To the network, that name is meaningless. Computers don't do names. They need a specific number, an IP address. So right away, we have a problem. How do we find that number?
The solution is the Domain Name System, or DNS. And honestly, the best analogy for it is the internet's giant shared phone book. Its one and only job is to look up the name you give it and find the matching number. And the process is pretty simple. Your computer, the client, sends out a DNS query, basically shouting into the network, "Hey, what's the number for cisco.com?" A DNS server out there receives this, looks it up, and sends back the answer. In this case, it's an IP address like 198.133.219.25. Boom. Now your computer knows exactly who it needs to talk to.
Okay, on to the next step. With that correct IP address, your browser can now send a message directly to the Cisco server. But what does it actually say? It can't just be random. It has to speak a very specific language.
That language is HTTP, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol. You can think of it as the grammar of the web. It's the set of rules that clients and servers use to talk. When you want a page, your browser sends an HTTP GET request. It's literally asking the server to get the files for that web page.
And here comes the server's reply. Now, it's not sending back a pretty picture of the website. No way. It sends back the raw code, the HTML, which is basically a blueprint. Your browser is like the construction crew that reads that blueprint and then builds the visual, interactive web page you see on your screen. But sending that code isn't as simple as just throwing it in an envelope. Before any of that data can travel across the network, it needs to be packaged up and prepared for the journey.
And this is where the presentation layer's job comes in. First, it handles formatting, making sure both computers agree on what they're looking at, like a JPEG image. Then, it'll often compress the data, squishing it down to make it smaller and faster to send. And for secure sites, it encrypts everything, scrambling it so nobody can read it on the way.
The application layer also acts as a conversation manager. Through the session layer, it sets up the communication channel, keeps that conversation going while data is being swapped, and can even help restart the connection if it gets dropped. Of course, the application layer isn't only about websites. These same ideas apply to a ton of other things we do online, like sending email and sharing files. Yeah, email is a fantastic example. To send an email, you use one specific protocol. It's called SMTP, which pushes your message out to the server. But when you want to check your inbox, you use a completely different protocol like POP3 or IMAP to pull the new messages down. So, what's the big difference? Well, POP3 is kind of old school. It downloads your email to one device and then usually deletes it from the server. IMAP, which is what most of us use now, keeps the email on the server and just syncs it across all your devices. That's why your phone, your tablet, and your laptop all show the exact same inbox. But what if you didn't need a big central server at all?
Well, that's the whole idea behind peer-to-peer or P2P networking. Instead of everyone connecting to one main source, every computer in the network connects to each other. They can all be both a client and a server, sharing files directly. It's a decentralized model, and it's the engine behind things like BitTorrent.
We followed this whole journey of a click. But you know what? We missed the most critical first step. Before your device can do anything on a network, it needs an address. So how does it get one?
The unsung hero here is DHCP, the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. And I'm not kidding, it is fundamental. Imagine if every time you connected to Wi-Fi, you had to manually type in a new IP address. It would be a nightmare. The internet would be unusable. DHCP automates that whole thing, making it all just work.
It works with a super fast 4-step handshake. Some people call it DORA for Discover, Offer, Request, Acknowledge. Your device shouts out a Discover message asking for an address. A DHCP server makes an offer. Your device sends a request for that offer, and the server locks it in with an acknowledgement. The whole negotiation happens in the blink of an eye.
So, from a DNS lookup to an HTTP request to that initial DHCP handshake, the application layer is this constant, invisible dance of protocols that makes the internet work for us. But this is just the top layer. So the question to leave you with is, what other invisible rules and deeper layers are shaping your digital world right at this very moment?